Father, we just thank you for the blessings that we have from having grown up in the freest, most prosperous country in the history of the world. We just pray, Lord, as we come together tonight to look at these candidates who want to represent us, Lord, that you would guide and direct our thoughts, our conversations, and our questions. Lord, we just pray that you be on them as they enter the arena. Give them strength and stamina, give them wisdom, and we just pray that the best individual would win. Lord, and we just also lift up our community to you, Sweetwater, Meriwether, Johnson, Trent, and Edgefield County. God, we just pray that you would help us to treat each other neighborly, and with love, and with grace, when we agree, and when we disagree. And we lift these things up to you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
All right. Pledge of allegiance. Everybody stand, please. Let's just face forward and cover our hearts, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, and the creed is next. For me, standing, please. I know there's only so many creeds out there, so share with your neighbor. And I need one. All right. I do not choose to be unbelieving. It is not right to be uncommon. But I can seek opportunity, not security. I want to take a calculated risk to dream and to build, to fail and to succeed. I refuse to barter incentive for hope. I prefer the challenges of life to guarantee security, the thrill of fulfillment to the state of calm utopia. I will not trade freedom for beneficence, nor my dignity for my handout. I will never cower before any master, save my God. It is my heritage to stand erect, proud and unafraid, to think and act for myself, enjoy the benefits of my creations, to face the whole world openly and say, I am a free American. Very good, very good. Have a seat. Well, members and guests, I know there's some important VIPs, previously important people that have showed up. So we'll start with Dean Campbell, the chairman this year, right? Okay. Scott Hoover, then chairman. Sheriff, good to see you. Good to be here. And Mr. Hickson, Bill Hickson, there he is. Any other VIPs here? Or VIPs? Oh, well, of course, he's our incumbent for District 2. And, oh, there she is. Okay. All right. Well, good to see everybody. Chairman's report. Again, this year, and for another meeting, I think it's important that we have people that represent us at the voting booths as managers, as poll watchers. I don't think that we've had a big issue. I know there's been some things that have gone on, that some mistakes maybe that have made. There's no smoking gun on anything, but I think the more people that we have as Republicans managing the polls, the better. There's a huge lack of us representing us at the polls as managers. It needs to happen. So my style has changed a little bit as I transition out of this position, and next year you'll probably see me get my drill sergeant face on a little more because I don't want to preach or yell at anybody, but I just think it's important. And, over the last several terms, I just wish that
more people participate. Anyway, I don't mean to gripe or yell at anybody, but I think it is important. Anyway, so treasurer's report, I do not have one. I'll have one in a week. We are down to speakers. So we have 4 candidates here tonight that want your vote. District 2 and District 5. District 2, we've got the incumbent, Tiffany Ireland, and Frank. Where's Frank at? There you are. Frank is running against Tiffany for her spot. And then we have Jason Burbage and Jerry. Where's Jerry at? Oh, Jerry Moody. Yeah, thank you. I always like going to these things middle and critical. But anyway, so I think it's going to be a good and informative evening for everybody. We're going to give each other 5 minutes to talk about themselves, and then we'll go 10 minutes or so on question and answer. And I think it's not going to be 10 minutes, it'll be or so. So that's okay. I guess I'll just begin. So, Jerry, you want to come up and say anything?
Ladies should go first.
The lady.
Well, yes,
All right, come on up. Go ahead and introduce yourself again, and whenever we get questions, if you guys don't remind or repeat the question, then that would be good for the film over here. So, anyway, enjoy. I'll be on the sidewalk, everybody. No, sir. You're on your own.
Anyway, welcome. We're glad such a good turnout tonight. I'm Jerry Moody, for those who don't know, and I've been a resident of Edgefield County since 1978. I'm married. I have 2 grown sons and 2 grandkids. Both my children went to Meriwether schools over here, and then they graduated at Warlaw Academy because back then the gyms didn't have Fox Street to choose from, so they had to go somewhere else. I'm retired from Augusta News Grant for 43 years of service. I retired as a ship supervisor, and also I was a ship captain for the emergency response team. And in those duties, I was responsible for hazmat refresher courses once a year. And then in 1987, I was one of the original firefighters at the Meriwether Fire Department when it got started. I think I saw Ray somewhere. He's another original. So, and then I served for chief for 4 years during my time there, and then Billy Parker came down to us in 1990, and he wanted more protection and more deputies for the Meriwether area, so he started a reserve deputy program. So I was one of the original 5 reserve deputies, and I served in that capacity for about 10 years. And some of y'all may want to know what's the difference between a reserve deputy and a real deputy. And the answer is just pay. We didn't get paid anything. They did, but we had the same duties and responsibilities as they did, and we had to put in 20 hours a month, and most of the time we put in a bunch of time. Okay, also I coached baseball down in Belvedere for 15 years. Back then, Edgefield did not have a real big recreation program, so a lot of Edgefield County kids went through the programs in Belvedere. So basically, I've been serving the county in some capacity for like 20 or 25 years, just not as an elected official. So, and then I've also been asked, what are my plans if I'm elected? It's pretty straightforward. With my background in emergency service, law enforcement, I'm going to work closely with Sheriff Rowland, Chief Joey Smith, the Meriwether Fire Chief, and the EMS Director to try to get y'all the best coverage and the best equipment that may about their needs to serve y'all and our kids. Okay, secondly, I'm going to go out there with a magnifying glass and a sharp pencil and tear that budget apart, look at it closely, piece by piece, find out where our money's going, y'all's money. And then I'm also going to provide transparency. A lot of people are saying we don't know what's going on. Well, when I find out about it, y'all are going to find out about it. Through meetings like this, through social media or whatever avenue I can come up with, that's what's going to happen. And another thing, I'm going to listen to the voters, hear y'all's voice back to county council. It's not going to be my opinion I'm voting on. It's going to be what y'all tell me and what we discuss. That's where the vote's going to come in. And finally, I have no personal agenda. I'm running for the citizens of Edgefield County, the whole county. I've been approached over a year ago by every district, someone in every district has come to me asking me to run. That's why I'm up here right now. I want y'all support, and I'll give y'all my support. The number is 803-292-8000. You can call me anytime, day or night. Thank you for your time.
All right, we'll do Q&A in a little bit. Jason, you want to say something? Oh, let me, Frank, I apologize. Frank Gabriel, he's a neighbor, so I just call him Frank. So Frank Gabriel was the running district here. Jason?
My name is Jason Permich. I've been in the area all my life. The majority of it was spent across the county line in Aiken County. 10 years ago, I moved into Edgefield County, and I plan to retire here. A few more years, but I plan to retire. I'm running because I've been pushing back against the high density and the land management ordinances for 3 years now, because I'm one of the first subdivisions that they focused on and tried to implement and push high density into. So I'm working to protect the citizens and their property rights here in Edgefield County. I'm going to work with the Sheriff's Department, provide them with all the resources they need to do their job effectively, try to keep taxes as low as possible. I know we're going to have to do everything possible to try to control the taxes and cut the budget where possible. Resources is something that we're going to need. We're going to do our best with myself and the other county council members. But I'm here to ask for your support and your vote on June 14th. Thank you.
You ready? Yeah. All right. Oh, before we just stand here and let him look at you for a second. It was Scott's idea, I guess this is Chairman's report also, Scott's idea to have it here. We would have had it twice in council chambers, but I think it was a great idea to have it here. Scott was going to pay for it. I told him I'd go in half. So I just want to give you a warning. I'm going to send this basket around. So if anybody has any extra 5s or 1s or whatever, if we go over the amount that it takes to rent the place here, then we'll go into the party funds. And that will be included in the next treasury report.
No need for extra.
Thank you, sir. All right.
Thank you. My name is Frank Gabriel. I've been a resident. My wife Shirley Gabriel. I work for University Hospital. Been in Edgefield County for 7 years. 3 of those years I spent on planning commission, where I had the privilege and the opportunity to work on a new comprehensive plan for a little over a year, I think, year and a half. And it was interesting, it was fun, and it was humbling, and it was informative. People I got to meet in all the public meetings that we had when we started putting those drafts together. We took as much as we could from y'all, from people who came to those meetings, public meetings, at the comprehensive plan. We had discussions with people, and ended up with a very nice comprehensive plan that we felt met the needs and wants of Edgefield's community and things that we need to put in there as far as the government goes. We have a great plan. County Council passed it, and we started working on that. I was also able to work on the land management ordinances for a while I was there, but it was intended to update the language of those land management ordinances and kind of bring it into the 21st century. A little things in there and kind of update it. I know I've seen a lot of signs out about, thumbs down, LMOs, and I agree with that, to a point. From what I've read, of some of those changes, they're a little bit fluid for me. I'd like to see a little more, definitive language in there instead of the language that I've seen that doesn't really set any parameters for developers. So I mean, there's a lot of things to do on both sides of that fence. My background is, I was in the real estate business, I was a builder, a realtor. I got into law enforcement kind of late in life. Crazy story. And managed 35 federal officers for about 5 years. At that level, I was captain. And we moved here, I retired. I worked for 3 senators in my life, 2 of them in Arizona, 1 in California, doing a variety of things with smart people, and learned a lot from them, and politics and in life in general, and how to treat people. All 3 of them are just good friends after we parted. So I'm running, I wanted to run and given it a lot of thought since I left the planning commission. I think those 3 years that I was on that commission, we had a great team, and I learned a lot from everybody. I think in District 2, I've had an interest in running for council since I left the planning commission. I've gone to a lot of council meetings. I see a lot of the same faces in there when I do go to those. And there's a lot of good comments, a lot of well thought out, pertinent and real concerns. And you can tell that people are concerned about what's going on in Edgefield. Myself is one of them. And rather than start a ruckus and fight, I decided to, you can't complain if you don't get in the fight. So I decided to run with an edge for John Pendergrass. There's some things that, a couple of points I want to bring up before I sit down, that I've learned about in Edgefield County that is badly needed. I'm concerned about our finances. I think we give developers an awful lot of incentive, in some cases reimbursement. Excuse me. I took the allergy pill and my mouth feels like chewing on cotton. And I think a lot of that's wrong, and I think we have heard a lot of conversations about Kendall Mill and the additional 10-year tax breaks that they wanted to have, they needed to have. From what I heard from the developers, that they couldn't make the deal work without that additional 10 years of tax breaks. And I personally thought that if you need that second 10 years of tax breaks, you probably shouldn't be doing the project because you can't afford it. But as with all the people I've heard talk at council meetings, our voices are unheard. And that's my personal feeling. I think that needs to change, and I want to be part of that change. Jerry's got to have, our thoughts and experiences are pretty close to the same, and I think if we both got on council, we might be able to be effective and get some things done that really need to be looked at, make some changes along the way. But one thing that I'm concerned about before I sit down is, we've only got 3 ambulances in Edgefield County. We've had a lot of growth in Edgefield. I didn't hear any of the budget talks about any kind of money being set aside or how we're going to raise money to get at least 1 more. We really need 2 or 3 more, the way the county has grown. And at this point, and I stopped and talked to some of the paramedics. So I'm getting out of the ambulance one day, and I stopped talking to them. I said, I heard that if one of these units is out of county, the other 2 can't leave. And they said, basically, that's true. And that's not right. We can't have somebody sitting around the hospital with a heart attack or stroke, waiting for a unit to come back. Time at that point is life or death. So, look, things like that, disaster management, do we have disaster management? I've never heard of it. Do we have plans? And, to look at the future and put some money aside for things we're gonna need. And those are some of my concerns. I got a whole list of them, but I only have 5 minutes. So if you have any questions, after or during, when we have our Q&A, you're directed in my direction, I'd be happy to answer. Thanks for being here tonight. Good to see you all.
Thanks for starting us off for the money. The next candidate and the incumbent for District 2 is Tiffany Ireland. Is this your first term? This is your first term, okay.
Hi, thank you for coming out tonight. I was also notes that she wears the glasses, so I have to get to the whole of these stories. I keep it this whole first of all, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Tiffany Ireland. I was not born in Edgefield because most of the kids in my generation weren't born in Edgefield. When Augusta got born, they were always back here and they raised us. So I was raised in Edgefield County. I'm a product of the Edgefield County school system. Graduated from Strong Farmer High School, my parents still win, so we'll just say it was a while back. Love Edgefield County. I live on the west side, which is God's country. I want to keep it that way. District 2 is amazing. I'm so proud to be able to represent. I am married to Philip Ireland. He works with the Sheriff's Department. Was an investigator for too many years to count, but now he's an SRO at Bettis Preparatory Leadership Academy. Yeah, we have 3 amazing children and 1 grandchild. So we recently became grandparents and we are loving it. Our children, the 2 oldest are grown, they're in careers of their own. We homeschool all of our children. Our 3rd and final little boy is a rising 10th grader, and we are still homeschooling. I love it. I'm blessed to be with him every day, and he's such a blessing. I go to Antioch Baptist Church. My home church is Red Oak Grove Baptist Church, but we attend Antioch. Very involved there, Philip's a deacon. I serve as chairman of the nominating committee. I'm the youth coordinator, and I teach our Sunday school class. And what else do I want to know? Been involved with recreation in our county for well over 25 years now. We started doing it before we had children. Philip and I, by the way, have been married 28 years this October. Before we had children, we started with the soccer program. We've been involved with it since then. We've been co-chairs of the soccer program for too many years to count now. Very proud of that organization. Have loved seeing children come through it. If you like soccer, and even if you don't, come and join us. We would love to have you and be a part of it. I've worked for the Edgefield Advertiser for over a dozen years, and during that time, I had the privilege of covering county council. So I am not new to this. I have been sitting on those meetings for over a dozen years. I've maybe missed 5 meetings in those whole years. I know the issues that this county faces. I know the backstories. I know the future stories. I know where we came from, and I know where we're headed, and I would hope to continue to be a part of it. I can tell you that I've enjoyed every moment of covering them and being a part of this. It's been an amazing journey. I've learned a lot, met a lot of amazing people. A few things I would like to highlight of the things that I have been a part of and have accomplished while I've been on county council. Spoke about the LMO earlier. The very first thing I did pretty much when I got on council was I proposed and got a moratorium. So we were able to get a moratorium on development, which allowed us to essentially kill the LMO, which was not a well-designed document from start to finish. We got it out of the way, and we were able to come up with something much better. We went into our small groups, met a lot of y'all there, listened to the citizens, and when they said we didn't want to be zoned, well, I listened to you, and I took your zoning away. And so, have some zoning put in that needed to go in a few places, but for the majority, we got rid of all of that. I'm proud to say that I was able to listen to y'all, and we could get that accomplished. much needed raises for our law enforcement and our EMTs. And now I can say that for the first time in many, many years, maybe decades, we have a law enforcement division that is well funded to the point that we are no longer considered a training ground. Before then, we were just hiring them, we send them to the academy, get them certified, we come back and train them, and they would leave. And that's all we were, was a training ground. That is not the case anymore, folks. We have a jam-up program here now. We've got people coming from other agencies to work in Edgefield County now. That's never happened before like this. We've got something we can be proud of, and I'm proud to say I was part of that. Also, I was part of giving the employees the biggest ever bonus the county employees have ever seen, ever gotten. We were able to use ARPA funds for that. Our employees worked their tails off through COVID. They kept our county running, and they are the ones, we stand on their shoulders. They are the ones who are doing the hard work, who are doing the grunt work, who are not getting paid, who work what they should all the time. They are not getting the thanks they deserve, and they put up with a lot. They deal with the public every day, and they don't meet a lot of the nice people. They're used to meeting people on the worst days, when they're not happy, when they're complaining and they're grumbling. So I'm happy to say we were able to give them a little bit back to show our appreciation for that. Solar ordinance, we had a very weak solar ordinance. We were able to shore that up. That came as an issue on the north side, Mr. Albert Tyler's district. They wanted to bring a solar farm in there. Neighbors, of course, were against it. It would have totally wiped out tons of acres there and come in. And we were able to fit in a solar ordinance that basically says, we're not as friendly as you thought, solar farms and facilities, and we're going to make you work hard next time in this county. And a little bit kind of tied into that, I accidentally found out that we had nothing on the books for mines and quarries. And so I called to make sure this was true. There was nothing. We had no ordinance. So I said, please, put me something together so this does not become a solar farm issue in the future. So my team worked together, they got it together, we were able to pass a ordinance on mines and quarries that's pretty good, and I think we don't have the legals that we had with the solar farm, so I think we did pretty good there. Broadband, that was one of the things that I was running that I said was passion for me, was to see broadband come to our county. Aiken Electric is to bring broadband to every one of their customers. I'm an Aiken Electric customer. I don't have it yet, y'all. I'm waiting, so don't think I have it. We're being patient. We waited this long, we'll wait a little bit longer. It's coming, I know it's coming. There are some people in the county who do have it already. But aside from that, I am also, my counterpart, Dr. Jackie Kenyon, and I are working with Aiken County to also bring broadband to other areas in the county serviced by Dominion who are underserved or not served. So we're hoping to make that a reality. The goal is to make Edgefield County fully covered with broadband so that our children have access, and the people who work from home have the access to the broadband so they can do that. And to kind of bring us into the future here. So this is something, this was a want several years ago, but this broadband's not a want anymore. This is a need, this is a necessity for this county, and so we're working toward that. And lastly, I'd like to say that I was part of bringing Interact. I was part of the council that welcomed Interact into our county. Interact has been a major investment into our county, not only with the jobs that they brought high-paying jobs that you don't have to have skill base for. I mean, they'll take you right off the street, you don't know anything, they'll train you, and you can go to work, and you can make a very decent wage from them. But also, they're a part of the community. They've gotten involved. They've done a lot of things behind the scene. I know this from my husband's work at Bettis Prep. They've partnered with them on several things at that school. And so I'm just happy to bring such a quality industry that's set up in our industrial park, which was made for the industry, and happy to welcome them.
So, Scott, what did it cost to come here tonight?
So, my county deposit is $60.
Right. All right. Well, I want to tell everybody thank you. We raised $153. So that will be in the treasurer's report for next time. And Scott, I guess we can write a check from the party to the county. pay for this, and then I'll put the extra in for next time. So we have another meeting down here at least. So I want to say thanks to everybody. Questions and answers. Should we go in the same order? Are you ready? All right. They look hungry.
That's why they showed up. They didn't come over to see our pretty faces.
First question, I guess I'll help mediate this and point to questions. Who has a question? Mr. Moody. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name's Gerald Jones. I had a question. And this is a question for everybody using the bank accounts. Our recycle centers, why are they open to everyone in this area? Aiken County, Georgia, all the counties. Anybody can come in there and use it. So we used to have the sticker, you had to produce your license, showed you were an Edgefield County resident, and South Carolina tag on your car. So we would be getting tax money from people who deserve to use it, not people from every other county, even Gulf to Georgia. Why did they stop before that?
Okay, his question was how come Edgefield County is allowing other county residents to come use our convenience center? Believe it or not, I have that written down at home, because I talked to some of them up here when I go to, and it's one of the things I'm going to look into. I don't have an answer because I'm not on council yet, but I will tell you this, when I do get on council, we will go back to the stickers and monitor the best way we can to keep other citizens from filling up ours. And also, you're out here the backside of Murphy Village, and you look at all the trash right there, the fences are tore down. I was talking to one of the landfill people, the convenience people, what's happening at night, and Jody probably can attest to this, they're breaking in and stealing tin cans out of the containers and other merchandise inside the fence. So it is a problem, but I will tell you this, I will look into it once elected.
I just want to make a statement. I talked to several guys who work there, on the work for several different locations. Use three of them. I used to and they were told not to ask anybody where they're from. But they did, it was their job.
Well, y'all paying a fee every year. Yes, I mean, so
That's
our land, our convenience centers, not Aiken counties, not Warren counties, not anybody else, they belong to us because we pay for them.
Maybe the spirit behind that is to mitigate litter, you know, people are feel less, maybe they feel less inclined to come out of here. So there's a big problem. Not that they can use it for free, every single yes.
But it's not fair for y'all to go there and the dumpsters are full and y'all are paying for those services.
I want to do something, because I'm afraid we're going to be asking all the questions up front, and some of the questions are, and some of the questions are really kind of towards incumbent kind of questions. So what I'm going to ask is, do any of the candidates have something different to say on this question?
Well, yes, I didn't bring it up earlier, but for the last 10 years, I've worked with two of the largest counties in the CSRA. And different counties have ordinances that protect their citizens from this. And actually, one of the counties that I've worked for in the past, there is a ordinance on the book that if you use our facility, it's the same thing as illegal dumping. If you get caught dumping on the side of the road, if you come in our facility, it's illegal dumping. We can look at putting that ordinance on the books so we can find them and prosecute them and make an example out of other county residents from other counties if they're dumping and using our tax resources.
I haven't been asked that question directly, but I've heard a lot about it. And, I think it needs some investigation. I agree with Jason that we probably need to get something on the books if there isn't already. If there is, we need to enforce it a lot better.
Tiffany? It's hard for me because I've been in these positions and I want to talk, but I can't.
You never touched about this. it faded out. You know, if you go now, you don't see as many stickers. And the sticker program was actually recently revisited by county council. We kind of looked at it and we asked our administrator and some other staff to look at it. And we were advised that it is not worth the money that we have to put into it. Here's the thing about the sticker program. So if I put it on my car and I go and I sell my car, get a new car, then I don't have that sticker anymore. And if I forget about that sticker, then I drive up and they're not gonna let me dump my trash, we don't have no sticker, and we gotta go through the thing about the sticker. Sticker program just was not working out. So so the sticker program wasn't working out. What we have done, we have taken measures to address this issue. We now have a litter control officer, and he makes spot checks, especially down here in the Meriwether area, because this is where we seem to get the most complaints, if you will, from. So we do have a guy who does come on weekends, even he does spot checks. I think one day he had 100 and something cars there. It was on a Saturday. I think it was Saturday or Sunday. It was a weekend. He came out, he spot checked. Out of those cars, it's a handful he turned around. Everybody else produced a card or driver's license that showed they were in Edgefield County. The biggest problem, though, that we have with this is who's going to enforce the sticker program. Our centers are manned by elderly seniors, by seniors from our senior center. That is who mans our centers. We would not want to put them in a position of having to enforce this. That's not something, they don't get paid very much at all, let me just tell you. At last council meeting, I just then asked for their pay to be increased. So it's not something we would want for them to have to enforce. This is not something though that we're not looking at. It is something that is continually being looked at. We're taking suggestions, we're looking at ways, but we are trying to address this problem. But let me also tell you on the flip side, we have people that go to other counties and dump. They go to Aiken County and they dump their trash. And they go to McCarthy and they dump their trash. There is that going on. So it's not just they coming into our county, we're going into their counties as well. So.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, actually.
yeah,
The issue is, it's not the county, it's all the other state license plates that have been coming in. You sit up here in this one, and you can see Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Indiana, Washington State, California.
and that's who would have been, who weren't changing who weren't registered or legal.
I agree with that, but I'm saying we're losing, we, the taxpayer, are losing that revenue to build our tax base. So we're all losing if we're not getting money.
Okay,
You know, that's a difficult situation.
I've run these meetings before, in my subdivision successfully, and, if we need to, we'll have people, no, you're fine. I just want to set expectations, let people come up to the mic and ask the question, and once you're done with the mic, you're done. So Mona, do you want to?
Yes, please. No, I have the mic. I have a question for you, Tiffany.
Repeat the question.
Absolutely, repeat my question. Each year, I am forced to pay $100 for my property taxes to pay for my dumping fee. Now, I know everybody else that owns property in this county pays the same $100. Now, what is that money used for? It's not going to the stickers. They're not getting a whole lot of salary at the dump. So where's the $100 per resident that is a tax, that is a property owner? Where's that going?
That's going to Three Rivers, correct? For them to take, our trash doesn't stay here, we've got to send it somewhere. And so we send it to this facility, and that's for them to take it, and then they do something with it after we dump it on them, yeah. So, it's a lot of dumping going on in this situation, I'm just saying.
So then we're paying for other people's, to incinerate other people's, trash.
In some cases, yes, we are. But we're also going over to other counties, and they're paying for us as well. So. But y'all aren't, yeah, y'all might not be, but we have citizens that go into Aiken County.
Doesn't make it right.
So it does not make it right, yes. But, yes, I agree, it does not make it right.
Okay, we have a question in the back there?
Just a little bit. We live on Town Street.
Okay.
Dirt road.
Okay.
Okay. we've been there for 2 years. We've gone before the county council to pay that road on several occasions, and it hasn't been done. There's 16 families that live on that road. When a FedEx truck or one of those trucks come along, you have to pull off the road, let them go by. There's many areas. It's hilly, it's curvy. We've had cars that have been a lot of work. So I'm just wondering if there's any possibility that we could have that for the
This is where it gets awkward. I have an answer, but we'll talk after. It's not my time tonight, so I'm gonna let, what we're gonna do, we have a question on the floor. What we're gonna do is, since this is another question, Tiffany will answer, and the other three will have a chance. Is this format working for everybody?
Yes.
Okay, Tiffany,
So
you got
did you hear the question from So the question was about paving or dirt road. So first of all, let me tell you, I grew up on a dirt road, so I totally understand dirt roads and living on a dirt road. My family still lives on their dirt road. Let me also tell you, county council has zero to do with paving. That's CTC. They don't have anything to do with it. But I have somebody in the audience right over there that you can talk to after this meeting that can help you out. So we do not pave roads. County council is not in the business of paving roads, and so I would direct you, I'll hook you up and we can talk to you afterwards, okay?
Jason, hold on, we have that question, we have a different question? No, hold on, Jason, Jerry, do you have anything to say on that? Okay.
I believe it's still, like it used to be, it's called C funds, and also one of the criteria for getting your road paved is all the landowners have to agree to it, I believe. That's what happened to me when I lived over here on Wood Drive years and years ago, so that may be one of your problems. And your district just got a new highway commissioner, Rudy Brooks, took Mr. Bass's place, so you need to contact Rudy. I think he's on vacation this week, but that'd be a good start. If you need his number, see Ray Johnson or somebody in the fire department that's his number. That's about the contact with Rudy, because he is now the representative on the highway commissioner board, and they meet once a quarter, and that's what they do. They go through and determine what roads get paved and the criteria and get them paved.
Well, it sounds like these two have answered the question pretty well, that it's not going to be our responsibility. Thank you.
All right, next question. I put John was first, and then right here, John.
I want to know what the candidates are going to do about transparency in the council and keeping the citizens of Edgefield informed on what's going on, how it's going on, how they reach their decisions on spending our money, such as pay increases, tax increases, and
So, council transparency, and information on items such as pay increases and the reasoning for pay increases, etc. Okay, you want to go first, Jason? Sure.
I've been thinking about this question. This young lady in the second row right there has asked about being able to get the agenda sooner than 24 hours before it comes to meeting so we can research it. Well, we've been told that the state law says they're only required 24 hours. But we can put it in our county ordinances that it can be put out by Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock before close of business. And they give our citizens all weekend to do their research, or if y'all would like it longer, we can put it out a little longer. Used to, it seemed like we did get the information sooner until the LMO came along, and then things seemed to slow down and a lot of confusion started going on. But we can put it in the ordinances to get it put out by at least Friday at 5 o'clock, and I don't see a problem with that. Thank you.
Transparency is one of the key points in answering your question. And I think you may be referring to the county council's 50% raise in some of your budget, what you're talking about maybe, but
I'm asking about anything to do with spending my tax money, and I have no knowledge of what you're spending it for, or why you're spending it, or why you're giving pay raises, or why you're trying to compete with larger counties or larger municipalities.
Okay. Well, like I said, one of the things I'm going to look into is where the budget money's going, how the budget money is being spent, because in the past couple of years, if you keep up with county council, there's 95 nonprofit organizations in this county. And it seems to be, and I'm not hammering on any one particular person, but if you came in with a good sob story, you left with a pretty sizable check from county council. And there's no follow-up after that of how the money went or where it went until the last council, and I applaud every one of them, they put a stop to that. With the city league coming to ask for money, some things came up, some things were brought out, they put a halt to it, put it on the next agenda, so that's what you gotta have. You gotta have a reason why you need the money, and is it gonna go to the citizens of Edgefield County and not just to a few. But transparency, I'm gonna try to get it out, whether through the newspaper, through public media, through meetings like this, as soon as I find about it. Like Jason said, don't forget us, they put their agenda out on Fridays before their Monday night. But also, Dean mentioned, you can't put it out way ahead, if you got changes up to the last minute. I think the big ticket items, you should at least have a week notice that this is a big ticket item. It's not gonna change from Monday to the next Monday.
What was that, 3 questions in one?
Well, something like that, John did.
Okay. I agree with you, John, that there, transparency is an issue, across all lines, whether it's a corporation or a city. I think transparency is important, but it also needs, to have substance, so that when you're getting, a report or getting information, it's not just, this is what we're doing. I want to know how they arrived at it. I would like to see a little bit more effort on council's part to do more research, look into some of these developments, into some of these developers. I said it once, I'll say it again. I feel like I'm not against the apartments in Kendall Mill, never was. I have an issue with that second 10-year tax rate. And, the developer sat there and said, we can't make this work without it. I have to fault council for not doing their homework to begin with. And looking at some of these companies that want us to fund in one way or another in some part of the project. I looked at the case, I still do look at the Edgefield County website, sorry. And I haven't seen anything on there since last week that is current. And I agree with you on another point is, some of these developers that were enticing, or even some of them were reimbursing, cash money reimbursing. Council failed, I think, in my opinion, to require completion bonds, some kind of an insurance policy that guarantees one way or the other that that project is going to get done. So yeah, I'd like to see not only more transparency, but a little bit more homework on their part, the people they're dealing with.
I'll take your questions.
Yeah.
So, I'll take your questions. We still have one more candidate. Yes. Frank, are you finished?
Yes.
All right, so we got a couple of things here. First of all, let me point out, I did not vote for the big percent pay raise. Okay, so just want to make sure everybody's clear on that one. Second of all, and not to throw anyone under the bus, but the chairman does put out the agenda. It is not something that council knows as a whole. And so, that's the part of the agenda. So, I want to say that. As far as transparency goes, so transparency, as I said, I have sat in that council room for over a dozen years now, covering every county council and it's still covered. So, if you have a paper, you can pick up the paper and you can read the paper. Everything's in there, and she does a great job of documenting everything that's going on in there. We also live stream our meetings now, so you can watch our meetings sitting from the comfort of your home. Also, every one of us have our contact information on our county website. You can contact me at any time, and many of you have, as has Mr. Paul, many times, and you know I'm going to respond to you. You're going to hear from me, you're going to get a response. Might not always like what you hear, but I am going to respond to you. So, I'm just saying, I'm not sure how much more transparent we can be right now. I feel like we are trying to be transparent, but at the end of the day, it falls on the citizen to be involved as well, and to be educated and to get information that is put out there. And I feel like we are doing a much better job of being transparent.
Okay, I'm so sorry, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
This is for all four. Recently, we have a current council person that made a statement within the last couple of weeks that they did not appreciate the constituents trying to tell council how to do their work. So my question to all four is, do you see your role as a rubber stamp to get a unanimous vote after proposal has been made, or are you willing to put forth some effort to come up with the best solution for Edgefield County?
I think volume's pretty good, Ron, did you have your thing? Did everybody hear that in the back? Okay.
I'll go first. I will put in effort and answer your questions. No, I don't have a rubber stamp, nor do I have a personal agenda. I'm there for y'all and the whole county. Even on District 5, I represent 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be a rubber stamp either, and if anybody in the county has any concerns, feel free to call me anytime. I'll talk to you and, answer your questions and do the best we can for the citizens of Edgefield County.
Old-timey thing.
Well, I tell you, I know there's a lot of frustration out there on many levels when it comes to council, and I'm sure council feels that pressure as well. And if you do, I'm glad. For me personally, I'm just wired this way. I'll either get in a fight or shut up, one or the other. And, this is one that I find, for me personally, hard to walk away from. That's one of the main reasons I'm running in District 2. I play golf with a lot of guys in there, and I know a lot of families, and the same questions always come up about the council and the gripes about this and the planning commission, and I tell them, run for office. I mean, I've been up there and talked to council several times, and I'm talking to a wall. Like they're looking through me and didn't hear a word I said. That's very frustrating. If you're going to take the time to get involved in council or any level of government and try to voice your opinions and your issues and your thoughts, chances are you thought about it pretty well. And questions that I hear from y'all they're pertinent, they're well thought out, and they're important, and they deserve an answer. I'm all about, if you're going to ask a question, I'll give you an answer. I don't have a little thank you. And I want to do this job, number one, because I have the time. I like doing research on things, and I don't believe in a rubber stamp. I don't have one, never had one. I don't have one.
I'll pay you one.
There's, I'm just not built that way. If I'm against something or something, there's an issue that I can't deal with, because it's not right. It's not right for you, not right for me. I live here too. I'll fight. I don't care. And, I don't have a problem with that. And I just hope that people that are constantly in these meetings, I hope we can get more. Well, I hope you keep coming and voicing your thoughts and your opinions, because those are things that I need to hear. You need to give me a reason to fight. Thank you.
Okay, Miss Kathy, I think you know my answer to this. So I'm just gonna give two examples. Miss Kathy, do you live in my district?
No,
How many times have you emailed me?
4 or 5?
How many times have I responded?
4 or 5, in the middle of the night.
I will say that. It's time to change a little bit with the grand bank now. But have you found me to be a pushover?
No,
Do I take your concerns and do I listen to them?
absolutely.
Okay, second question. Mr. Hudson, do you live in my district?
Yes, no,
No, you don't, do you?
right across the street from you.
That's right, you're right across from the street. Were you zoned?
Nope, thanks to you.
Thank you. Did I listen to you?
Do what?
Did I listen to you?
Listen to every word I said.
Thank you. That's what I just want to show you. I'm not a rubber stamp girl. I will listen to you. I have listened to you. If you don't believe me, there's some people out here who can tell you.
All right, William, go ahead.
My name is Maria Moore, and I work in healthcare, and I would love to come to all the meetings, but if we're getting into the 21st century, there should be a better way that we can have the meetings without having to go. I work in Augusta, my coworker and I work carpool, and it is a struggle because I also have a mother with dementia that I go several days a week to shower, bathe, cook after working all day. So if we're gonna get into the 21st century, I know where I work at, we have good meetings, even if we can't make it to the hospital, we can always have that good meeting. So, I mean, it is a long drive, and probably a lot of us do work in Augusta because that's where the big industry is. So there's gotta be something better, and I like what Mr. Gable had talked about when I got to meet him about the ambulance. I work in healthcare, those minutes count. And I think that does need to be looked into instead of giving tax incentives to developers. I would like to see us keep up with the people, the older people in the county, because you know what, a lot of the people that need the health care have to go to Augusta, and I was shocked. I mean, I hadn't heard anybody talk about it until Mr. Gabriel brought it up. Working in healthcare, I know what those minutes are worth. Like,
All right, yeah, that was our first question statement.
yeah. I put my hand up about to pay attention, so you know what? I want to say what I want to say because I'm a free American.
That's right.
This is actually for all
There's one.
could you read that quote again?
Me?
Yeah, the county council person that said something.
Does not appreciate constituents telling council how to do their work.
Okay, so from the county council's website, they're responsible for identifying and communicating the direction in which the county should move, and responsible for adopting and the policies and budgets that will move the county in that direction. So that council person was not wrong in what they say they do. So my question to the floor is that what you perceive your role to be, is to tell me what direction to march?
I don't perceive it to be my role to tell y'all how things go. I believe it's my role to listen to y'all and do what the citizens would like us to do. And that's what I do on county council.
what I'm gathering, you're saying that we tell you what to do, correct?
You know, that's what the county council said.
Well, that's the old county council. If you go to be in, you start with the new county council. I'm not gonna ever tell y'all what to do. I'm gonna go up there representing y'all, listening to you. I may get turned down 4-1 on my votes every time, but my one vote will be y'all's vote. So that's all I can promise you there is, y'all are gonna direct me, I'm not gonna direct you.
So we had a really, really good rewrite of our comprehensive plan in 2019. Like I said earlier, it included probably 80% of what we heard from the public meetings of people in Edgefield County, their thoughts and feelings on how they wanted to see development, their feelings on the commercial areas and road development. You know, Edgefield County's got is basically farming and agriculture. That's our business. And the last thing that all the people that I talked to, you know, and working on that comprehensive plan wanted to preserve that. Moving forward could mean a lot of things. We could move forward with a lot of high-density housing. We could move forward with getting some roads paved. My opinion of moving forward is to balance that development and ensure that our farming and agricultural businesses and a lot of our land is also preserved. Edgefield County is a beautiful place. And there's a lot of people who want to keep it that way. And I feel there's a regional balance between I think there's a balance between development in housing, development commercially, development in our schools. And I know you gotta have houses and you gotta have taxpayers to get some of these things done. Our comprehensive plan, and you know, I love that, I keep talking about it, and I'll keep talking about it. I felt had a very good balance with high-density housing in areas that it should be, where it's not affecting someone's farm, somebody's acreage, their quiet enjoyment of their property. You have rights too, and we just can't allow every developer that comes in with a plan to go build wherever he wants and infringe on somebody else's quiet enjoyment of their property. I feel that comprehensive plan, we managed to find that balance in there. I'm not happy with the changes I've seen, and the variations of that plan. But moving forward, in my opinion, is to have all those things, put all those things in the right places and well managed. And that's the key to the whole thing, is just the management of the growth. We don't have utilities in a lot of places. A lot of Edgefield County doesn't have all the utilities. All the high density housing that we looked at in the areas were all in the right places at the time that we put that together. And we were hopeful that that would continue, and as utilities became available, going west up Sweetwater, and that those developments could utilize those benefits of having water and sewer as the county grew, without infringing on farms and our agriculture. In my opinion, that's what's moving forward, is to keep Edgefield rural in a lot of ways, and not overdeveloped. We don't want to be others. I think I heard that more than anything else in those public meetings. I don't want to be others. I got 100 acres over here, and I don't want 500 houses next door to me. You know, on well and septic. I don't disagree with it. I think there's a lot of issues with well and septic and high density housing that are environmental issues. So, can we move forward? Yeah, we can move forward in a lot of different ways, but moving forward is doing what y'all want to do. And I live here, and we moved here because it's a beautiful town. We don't want to see it turn into evidence, but it has to be managed properly. Thank you.
I've lived here, like I said, all my life. My family, I come from a family of farmers. I live in the rural section. My next door neighbor is a cow. I look out every morning and I can see beautiful fields. I can hear the cows lowing. I want to keep it that way. I don't want a subdivision coming near me, and I expect most of you feel the same. I want to keep our rural character, and I've been fighting for that since I got on council. And I think, again, if you ask those people who I work with, you'll see that I am not somebody that's going to tell you what to do. Did I tell you, Mr. Hudson, sorry, I can't do nothing for you, your land is owned and it's going to stay that way?
No, ma'am, you stop.
So,
I said, I live on property in my family since the 1800s.
that's
My mom
right.
lives below, my sister lives above. I don't want Edgefield County in that area to turn into a market or heaven. So we got to put the right people in council, which I think George, you're doing a real fine job, but we got to put the right people in the planning.
And also want to make one thing, because it keeps coming up, so I just want to make sure everybody understands this in regards to the comprehensive plan. The major change that was made to the comprehensive plan that took away protection against lot densities and lot sizes, that was put back in. So that original that came over to us from the planning commission is back the way it was. So that was one of the first things that also we took care of once I joined council. So looks like I've been in that as well. So it is back how it is. So just want to address that.
So, Mr. Cooper, Scott Cooper has a question. I have two quick questions. One, I applaud each one of you for entering the agreement. I really do. What part of the Republican platform, or parts of the Republican platform, are most important to you? And then my follow-up question is, our neighbors in Saluda and Aiken County select their chairman at large, so the people get to decide who sets the agenda for one things that stuff. What is your view on becoming like Saluda and Aiken, where the chairman is selected at large versus 5 people in the county? So, what part of the Republican platform is most important to you? And how do you feel about the chairman being elected?
Okay, I'm assuming that, the chairman would be the person with the most votes.
Yeah, in Aiken County and Saluda County and many others, whoever wants to serve as chairman, they have to run at large and get, in our case, all 25,000 people to vote either for or against them, not just 5.
Okay, excellent. Thanks,
I would oppose that the citizens of Edgefield County, the whole county, should choose their chairman. I would have no problem with that stance on who gets to serve as chairman. I'm a fiscally conservative Republican. I have views of Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump, and represent the citizens of Edgefield County.
I'll let you in on a little secret. I think they should wrap crime scene tape all the way around Washington, D.C. They have no platform. You know, I've been on this road for a while, and I haven't seen anything come out of either party that actually happen. They'll make promises, they say things, they have platforms, but, you know, I don't hear a peep out of them sometimes, and it just doesn't seem to me that they're following anything but, any kind of a plan. And, I don't see anything on that platform, on the Republican platform itself, that I agree or disagree with. It's just, they haven't shown us anything for how many years? And you kind of lose faith in it, you know, and what's going on in DC. So I agree with a lot of things they say, but I disagree with a lot of things they do. Thank you.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
I kind of have to agree with Frank a little bit. I think when you get on the local level, what we go by here for Edgefield County is not necessarily in the state level that builds in the next level up. I mean, your party has a platform, true, but Edgefield County has a platform also, and you've got to pick and choose one or the other to run. You got to be a Republican or a Democrat to get on the ballot. So basically, I've been a Republican all my life growing up, but I'm more so vote for the person than I am the party, because there's some people that run as Republicans, I don't want them in there, you know? Bill's constituents, one of them, you know, that runs on the other side. He's a great man, I bet, Bill Blackburn. So, but I just don't always go by party, but I'm in the heart. But I don't think you need to bring a platform at the national level that's just completely tore all the pieces and put it down here at the local level. We need to work like we do in this room, in this county, and deal with them no matter what we are.
Okay, so I'm not a platform girl either. My platform is God. So God's my platform, He's my foundation. After that, I'm listening to you, the people. So that's my platform. Very much like Mr. Jerry Moody just said, here at the local level, it is a lot different than even what Mr. Bill deals with, and of course, what they're dealing with way up above our food chain. So this is a whole lot. The game is a lot different here. But I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm not representing a platform. I'm representing God. I'm representing the people. And so, that's what I'm
All right, there's a question.
I have one more question. It's kind of a 30,000-foot question with a microscopic view. It's a kind of a big challenge because I know what we're dealing with in Edgefield County is like what a lot of other rural counties are dealing with. We're rural, we want to stay that way, but we've got people moving in here from all over the country, and there's growth coming, and we can't stop that. We don't want to stop that, but we don't want to let it corrupt us and change us from who we are. So the biggest problem I see that we have as a fine point to deal with is high-density housing. I'd like to know your overall thoughts on how we manage that, control that, prevent it from happening. I know in the LMO, which is, I hope that's gone, one of the biggest things I saw as a huge problem was those incentives they were giving to developers to bring high-density housing to Edgefield County. I hope that's gone, but I'd like to know y'all's thoughts on how we manage and stop or control high-density housing in the rural areas while we still do something to keep our towns like Johnson, Trenton, and Edgefield from dying. They need business, they need people, they need density around them, but not out in the county. So how can we foster that sort of environment? Or should we even try? That's my question.
All right, I'm not asking somebody to go get the money.
High density should only go where infrastructure is already there. And I agree with you totally. We need to get Trenton, Edgefield, and Johnson because they're dying towns. There's a lot of land around there that's not farmland. Edgefield's got water, sewage, but we need to try to send high density to those areas, and maybe we can bring businesses, tax dollars back to the county, back to the citizens. But high density in areas like this, all it is a place for somebody to lay their head and go work across the river at Fort Gordon or wherever else SRS. But no, high density has its place, and it's not down here. One local subdivision, we tried to stop over here in Anderson Point. We went from 84 lots to go to the septic tank. We got it down to 33, which was a big improvement, but we weren't gonna stop it completely. But no, high density does not need to go on septic tanks. You got to have infrastructure to support it.
I think part of managing our development is in certain areas, again, anything close to or around our farming areas or agricultural areas, you really can't stop development. And I'm not against development, but like I said, I'm more for responsibly managing it. And if you do that in areas that you don't want heavily populated for one reason or another, and if it doesn't make sense, then you need to look at potentially 2 acre, 3 acre, 5 acre lots in some areas that where high density housing would interrupt something else or not fit in that area the way it should, so everybody can enjoy their homes and their land. I think, again, I think our comprehensive plan spelled that out pretty well in a lot of areas where we would like to have seen estate lots, which minimum 2 acre to 5 acre lots. That's how you control high density from interfering with somebody else's enjoyment of their property or ranching or farming or agriculture. Areas that infrastructure-wise can't handle 100 homes. 30, 40 would be okay. Traffic is an issue. We don't have the roads to handle that kind of high traffic. Anderson Point, Jim Oliver and I fought that tooth and nail. We had so many conversations over that zoning for several reasons, and a lot of them were density, because of the fact that they needed to have used well water and have septic, because there's no water and sewer there. The problem is there's a stream that runs right through that property, and that's how Sweetwater Road got its name, because the water coming from that spring is very sweet. I believe the gentleman has has that spring running through his property. Has University of South Carolina when kids come out and test it every year. And to this day, you can take a cup and put it in that spring and drink the water. It runs right through underneath that development. And we had an issue with that with 35 septic systems, particularly environmentally. Plus the fact that, when they're done with that, they're going to dump that whole situation, as likely as it could be, on the homeowner, because it will be an HOA. So if a couple of those septic tanks fail and ruin that water, there's going to be issues. There's a farm down below it. Gentleman's got a nice farm. He's talking about how many goats? 500 goats. And he has fish in that freshwater pond, and he fishes for and eats, and he animals drink out of it. And that is right behind that downhill. It's just, this wasn't a good situation. Aside from the fact that intersection, Wheeling Road and Currytown, is one of the highest accident areas in Edgefield County. And with 33 homes in there, that's a minimum of 33 cars coming out onto those country roads. Husband and wife, 66 cars. Husband and wife, one child, 99 cars. Coming out on those country roads, and they're less than 100 yards from that intersection. And there's one way in or out of it. There was a lot of issues with that development that we felt We weren't against it as a development, we were against where it was. And that's what you have to manage in Edgefield County, where you want to put it. And does it fit there? You know, 33 homes in there, you get up in the morning at 7:30, turn the shower on, you might get wet, or you might not. If that water table changes, or the draw from it, from 33 homes, could cause some water pressure issues. But anyway, that's an example. I didn't mean to chew on it. It's there. Thank you.
As everybody knows, we have people wanting to move to Edgefield County. We're going to continue to have growth. But we hope it's quality growth over quantity. We want good subdivisions coming, rural subdivisions, large lots, but it's going to need to be where infrastructure is. Because pretty much most of the land below Sweetwater Road is real clay base, and we don't have no infrastructure, no sewer lines or anything like that. So it's going to be hard for them to develop that part of Edgefield County without infrastructure. And I'm not going to vote for the citizens of Edgefield County to spend $1 on sewer lines coming into Edgefield County. Developers, if they're able to do it, they can pay for the cost.
Edgefield County is a wonderful place to live, y'all. Hey, to tell you the word got out. We didn't keep that good enough secret. And so now we have a lot of people wanting to come here, and we know that. Growth is coming, we cannot fight that. But we can be smart about how we plan for that. And I think that's what we are doing now. I think you see that in the current council. I think you see it as we move forward. I think we have some good staff in place now. These ordinances were not meant to sit on the books for 20 years and never be looked at again. These are fluid. They should be looked at. They should be reviewed on a steady basis, and I think you're going to see that now. That wasn't happening before. I think you're going to see that now. Specifically, for what I've done to fight against this, again, can't do a thing to stop the subdivision that wants to come in on Stable Lane. They're going to build, I don't know, roughly 70 houses over there, 1 acre lots, well and septic. When I found that out, said, no, we can't do that. So we got the ordinance together that says, you can't do that anymore. You've got to have at least 2.5 acres. You're going to do well and septic. It's just common sense. I would like to see there more acres, but that's what we can work for right now. But we have these people in place now who are aware of these things, and I think you're going to find that it's going to be a different climate. It has been a different climate. And we know that growth is coming. We're preparing for it, and hopefully we're going to do a good job. One last thing about the growth, the areas around the towns. The towns do have incentive areas. There are incentive areas around each of the towns where we're saying, hey, here's some land. Come put your development here. That's where we want you. That's in place. All they gotta do is come do it.
Okay, do you have any questions?
I do have a question about traffic studies. Does the traffic studies for these subdivisions being built? But I don't believe there was one done over here on Merle Road, 5 lots, through 455 homes, you know, they're all over Merle Road, that one subdivision. That's a 2-lane road, you bring in 455 homes down road, 2 cars per family, you got school there, you make it a 4-way stop. Anybody really do traffic study for that area before they approve it? I mean, it's just a question, because you brought about the traffic studies. I've never heard anybody even study being done out there. So is that the council does that, or is that the traffic division for that? So that's just a question I have.
Yeah, again, it's not my job to answer things, I'm gonna defer that to candidates or companies, so.
Yeah, I mean, the candidates and the council do the traffic studies, or we all do it at the county? I want to know myself.
The only thing I know about the subdivision over here, DOT has to give the developer a right of where the driveways go based on traffic studies they have on file. There are traffic studies on every road around here. There's traffic points like on Currytown Road, is right there past Patty Lee's house. It's a station. I mean, every year they're gonna put a little black thing across there. Mainly DOT handles wherever driveways go, how much clearance over the hill is needed. I think in South Carolina, is 250 feet between driveways. That's why you see some houses share driveways right across the street over here, because they're not gonna allow driveway. That's handled by DOT. Yeah.
I was here when that brought up.
Anybody else want to comment on that, or we can answer the question? Okay. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask is, the principle, just, maybe not a question, but I just want to encourage you, that the principle while you're running and what you're doing, it sounds great. Remember the big picture, and while you're doing small, we are a small community, and I have, it sounds great. I think I've listened to a few of y'all in meetings, and I've watched it's a fascinating process this last 6 months. We have a greater responsibility to put more conservative American values in practice here and win our state representatives to hold them accountable also. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Or not?
Yes.
You want to serve God? You must say, well, I'm a Republican, I'm an American. I mean, I don't know. I agree. I've heard you say some of the platforms. Yeah, I get you. I don't know what their platforms I hear on. Our Department of Education was on Ronald Reagan's platform. Everybody tells me they're a Reaganite. He was supposed to get rid of it. That was how many years ago? I think nobody remembers it. That was their platform to get rid of the Department of Education. Why is the federal government still in the business of money? Education. Obviously, for the record, I'm a homeschool dad. I don't want the government near my kids. I mean, you don't the reason a lot of this came out is because they started watching Zoom and started sitting there and listening to what the teachers were telling their kids. That's why millions of people have done this. Now, I have a great respect for the conservatives and people that put their head out and put that thing. I don't know everything about it. I just hope everybody remembers that we serve a bigger purpose. And I hope y'all have, I wish y'all do have integrity in what you're doing. And don't forget the bigger purpose. I know we're one small, my representative, I know we're one voice or one small unit, but we can win other people. We can show them how people can get along, work together, and I just encourage y'all to do that. I don't know if that's a question, I just want to make sure a statement. Remember, we have a bigger purpose, even though we are small. We can show other communities, and who cares what we bring in people, we'll win them to our way. We're not having to be afraid of people, we just think about what you're saying. That's all.
What I want to do is maybe if any of the candidates want to comment on the comment. And,
well, you may not.
Right, and I believe Scott. Also, are you?
Well, I was just going to say, I think Mr. Garrison stepped up because of my question. Right? That's the content of the position. So, my point is principles matter, platforms matter, because there is a difference. And if you don't know the platform, I would encourage you to read it, because it is based on the things that I think are American principles, and there is a clear distinction between the two parties. We read the Republican Creed, which is part of the platform. So, if you're a candidate running for office at any them doing in office in our contract with them. We should know the process. That's my.
I think, maybe during one of these meetings, we do have comment sections, whoever wants to come up and say a comment, but we do it lottery style. No, you're fine, I appreciate you coming up, it was important to you, and I believe what you're saying is important to us as well, so I'm glad that you said it. Are there any candidates who want to speak on this comment? Okay, well, no, I appreciate you coming up and saying so, I appreciate all the questions. Does anybody have any questions? Any other questions? Nope. Okay, going once, going twice. Any closing statements for the candidates?
I just want to appreciate y'all for taking the time to come out on a rainy night, a little bit, we need it, but just want to thank y'all for coming. Like I said, you have my number, if you need anything, day night, just give me a call, I'll be glad to talk to you.
Yeah, I'd just like to see, Edgefield County residents be involved in the politics of Edgefield County and hopefully with God's grace and a little push here and there. We listen to the people and the government makes the right decision. That helps move Edgefield County in the right direction and it puts Edgefield County first. We gotta listen to you, and we gotta vote on things that matter to all of us as residents of Edgefield County. I don't separate the two. Thank you.
I want to thank y'all for coming out, and I've met a lot of y'all in the last several weeks. I've been going around talking to people. If I'm able to serve you, anything you ever need, just give me a phone call. I'll be willing to talk to you and answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Now y'all ready to go home, and y'all ate 3 cakes that I didn't because I didn't trust myself not to throw up when I got up here. So, anyway, I just want to thank y'all again for coming, and have a good night. If you have any questions for me, my contact information is on the website, or you can find me when you leave, and I will be sure to give it to you. So, thank y'all again, nice to meet y'all.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. This is a terrific turnout. If you would, tell everybody we're having another meeting. It's Tuesday? Monday. And at the county council chambers in Edgefield proper. So thanks again for coming. Thank you for helping make the venue here. And I want to wish all our candidates good luck. And good luck in making the decision. Do I hear a motion to close the meeting?